Dr. Anthony Fauci called China's COVID situation a disaster in a new interview. You've got Hong Kong coming out of its deadliest wave of outbreaks. It's reopening beaches and pools, broadening the limit on the number of people who can eat out together at restaurants. Think about that. They had limited who you could go out to eat with. That's changing now. In Beijing, you've got officials also easing up some of their tough quarantine rules for people coming in from overseas. But with China's zero COVID approach, there are still a lot of restrictions in place. And in some ways, they're hurting the country. Businesses, production lines and factories shutting down for weeks. You've got some people really furious over all the rules more than 2 years now into this pandemic. Here's Janice Mackey-Freyer with more.
Hallie, officially, there isn't a lockdown in Beijing yet, but in many ways, it sure feels like one.
Across Beijing, schools, theaters, and theme parks are closed. There's no dining in at restaurants, only takeout and delivery. And a mass testing dragnet. 20 million people tested multiple times, in some areas every day. So far, just over 500 cases have been reported. The anxiety that a wide-scale lockdown might still be coming. 2 years into the pandemic, China's tough zero COVID policy faces a moment of truth here. Shanghai's lockdown is nearing 6 weeks. There's a decline in cases, but public anger is simmering over chaos to get food or to get into hospitals, and over videos like this, showing a funeral home worker refusing to take a COVID victim because the person was not dead. That the video went viral here led to government officials admitting the mistake and ordering an investigation. Across China, there are now close to 400 million people living under some form of COVID restrictions or lockdown. With low expectations for a return to normal life or open borders soon.
I hereby pronounce you, Matt and Janelle, husband and wife. You may now kiss the bride.
This expat couple in Shanghai went ahead with their wedding over Zoom. The ceremony was officiated from the U.S. They had a get-together outside, but because of the lockdown, couldn't go past their front gate. That China's two largest cities are hobbled and supply chains are strained is reviving debate. Some public health experts argue zero COVID is not sustainable.
People need to realize that it is a challenging environment and it's not getting any easier.
But China's government calls it a magic weapon that for a while kept cases largely contained here until now. In Beijing, disinfecting teams are back on the streets. Dozens of subway stations are closed. If even a single positive case is detected, the entire neighborhood gets walled off. That a huge makeshift hospital used during the SARS epidemic has been reopened and mass quarantine centers are being built suggests there's little chance zero COVID is easing anytime soon.
Officials say the outbreak is still challenging, but the economy is already suffering. Manufacturing and services are at their lowest point since the beginning of the pandemic, and global markets are anxious. Still, China's government is not relenting, and so the slow squeeze here will continue.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.